Hi, Coach Bob Huggins here at your local Little General store. As I travel this great state, it's nice to know almost everywhere I go, Little General's there to serve me. From gas to groceries, and let's not forget their delicious New River coffee. Little General stores have taken convenience to a whole new level. Great prices and convenient places say it all. Shop your local Little General store today and tell them Hug sent you.
This week, one of the greatest athletes in WVU history. 3 NCAA titles. He had a 126-4 record. One of only 20 wrestlers to win a title in 2 different weight classes. One of only 10 to win a national title as a freshman. The man has only been taken down 10 times in his career, and he finished his career with a 51-match win streak. It's the one and only Greg Jones.
You know, before we get into your collegiate career, which is spectacular, let's go back a little bit, because I know your roots and growing up in a wrestling family played such a big part of your life. You know, tell me what it's like to grow up in the Jones family in Greensburg, PA.
I actually grew up in a small town outside of Greensburg. I went to Greensburg-Salem High School. I grew up in a small town, about 400 people, of Slickville, Pennsylvania. You know, there wasn't really much to do around our house besides, you know, wrestle around, play out in the woods with my brothers and sisters, one of 5 kids. So I guess typical small town stuff that, you know, we just, you know, had fun.
There's a great story that I think you have to tell, and that is, tell me about the basement story.
Well, yeah, my father, he ran a wrestling club out of our basement, and I could, you know, remember driving home on the school bus, and for some reason he thought if our wrestling room was hot, it meant we'd work harder. So I could see, you know, the smoke coming out of the chimney, and you know, I knew right then that we were in for a rough practice.
You were a state champion at Greensburg-Salem High School, as we said. Who were your greatest influences? Was it your father? Was it your coach?
I think that's easy. I think my father, as far as providing direction, providing discipline, and really setting the bar high as far as what he expected of us. But after that, it would definitely be my older brother, Vertus. Vertus was really achieved at a high level, both in high school and in college. Excuse me, and really, you know, just kind of provided direction for me and allowed me to understand that, you know, if he can compete at a high level, and I grew up the same way he did and did the same things that he did, it made it realistic for me to be able to set those goals that were a little bit outside my reach.
Yeah, tell me about Vertus and Donnie as well, as they both are WVU alumni wrestlers.
Sure. Yep, Vertus was a 3-time All-American here, was a 2-time NCAA finalist, and Donnie came 5 years after me, and he also had a great career here. So, you know, this university has been very good to my family, and, you know, I think my parents and us as well are very appreciative.
So I think I know the answer, but why did you actually choose WVU?
That's just it. That's just it. You know, with the older brother here, it kind of made it easy. I didn't even visit any other schools. I was, you know, recruited at a decent level coming out of high school. I think a lot of people maybe assumed that, you know, I was coming to West Virginia. I told myself that wasn't the case, but you know, looking back, it probably was the case that I wasn't really planning on going anywhere else. You know, coming down and visiting Vertus and getting to know the people in the town a little bit, it was really a no-brainer for me.
You won as a freshman the NCAAs. I mean, there's only been 9 other freshmen that have ever done that in the NCAA tournament. You know, tell me, what were you feeling? What was your focus this year?
I can remember as soon as the final whistle blew. In that final match, the first thing that popped in my head was, how do I get off this stage? You know, I couldn't get out of the arena fast enough. And looking back, I think I just, maybe I wasn't prepared, maybe I wasn't equipped, maybe it was too much too soon for a freshman to be able to handle, and my first reaction was to kind of, you know, find a way out.
Yeah, you know, in 2003, the following year as a sophomore, you were ranked #1 going into the tournament, and you lost. What happened?
You know, for whatever reason, you know, I just couldn't get into the tournament that year. There were a lot of external things that were kind of going on, you know, and I could just remember going through the course of the season having a lot of close matches, but I just didn't really appreciate the process. You know, I would wear myself down of trying to be perfect, trying to be on every time out. And I think by the time the national tournament got there, I was just worn down.
Yeah, your junior year really was the start of Greg Jones, the Machine. You know, tell me, what was your approach mentally
there was two things I was focused on. I was going to go out there and I was going to score as many points as I can, and I was going to wrestle as hard as I can. If that meant making a guy look bad and breaking his will to compete and breaking him down mentally, that's what I was going to do. It really comes down to a matter of imposing your will on your opponent, and breaking him mentally, breaking him physically, and taking his will to compete. And that's what I try to do.
When it was really important, you could almost feel it in the air that things tightened up, the intensity tightened up, and in the critical moments, you want Greg Jones there. When it's important, his response to that kind of stress is what all the great champions have.
Looking back, my senior year of the national tournament was the best. It was the most fun, and it was the most enjoyable wrestling experience that I've ever had in my life. And a lot of guys don't get to say that about their last time out there competing, and I'm very fortunate that I'm able to say that.
How did you feel when they put you in as the top 10 wrestler in the 2000 decade?
I was definitely honored. We're always going to be judged by our cohorts and those people that kind of are contemporaries, the guys that went through it the same time as us. You know, and that's you know, a real legitimate kind of measuring stick, I guess. You know, it's cool that you have your name listed up there with some of the elites of our sport.
What are your thoughts about moving into the Big 12 in wrestling especially?
We're going to be a extremely competitive member of the Big 12 Conference. We're going to be vying a challenge for conference championships. That has to be our goal. We cannot set a lower standard of expectations for ourselves, whether it be coaches, whether it be student athletes, whether it be administration. That has to be a goal of ours, to be in there and compete and beat the very best teams.
What does it mean to you to be a WVU Mountaineer?
Personally, you know, this university means a great deal to me. I take a great deal of pride of being associated with West Virginia University. You know, and it's who I am. Outside of my biological family, this university is probably the next thing that I closely identify with. So it's, like as I said, it's made me who I am, helped mold me to get where I am, and I'm very proud of that.
Jonesy, in closing, brother, listen, when you think of WVU greats, you think of Sam Huff, you think of Jerry West, Pat White, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Your name is right there, brother.
Well, thank you, Will.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks again for watching this Alumni Spotlight, brought to you by Little General. We'll be back again next week with another player in WVU athletic history. For more videos, click the button below. As always, let's go Mountaineers.